You know, can I tell you something? Can I say something? I don't mean to be offensive, but you do kind of look like some sort of chandelier decoration, you know? Or like one of those weights on a cuckoo clock. I mean, I'm not saying you're not beautiful. You're quite gorgeous, but nice bobtail. Hey, gorgeous lizard. You just chilling right there? You know, half in the sun, half not. That's kind of nice. It's a good moderation, you know. Don't got to worry about getting too hot. Hey, I didn't mean it with the chandelier comment. I'm sorry. Hey, okay, I'm really sorry about that. I wasn't, all right, sorry. And more of that Scaevola crassifolia. Smells like weed. Glabrous leaves, waxy, dentate margins, serrated margins. Oh. Ah, here's a nice one. A member of the solanaceated nightshade family. Here's Anthocircus. Five fused petals. Kind of a deep cup-shaped corolla in there. Variations on a theme. Look at those purple, I guess they're more like a maroon colored striation on the inside of that corolla. Ah, that's nice. There's the fruits. Variations on a theme, my ass. This kind of looks like a nightshade, but again, lineages have been separated for a long time. Millions of years. Millions and millions of years. Gondwana and supercontinent version of a nightshade? I don't know. Could be. Here's the leaves. Almost succulent. That nice woody stem. Goes up to about 8 feet tall. It's just, Jesus Christ. I think there's a couple species in this genus too. Hey, star-shaped flowers. Yeah, what a beaut. Oh, there's that clematis pubescens, and that's in fruit. A nice wind dispersal. Perfect for the windy beach. Look at the color of that. Look at the color of that water. The Great Southern Ocean. So what we're going to see is a species of orchid called the granite orchid, and it should be growing out there on those little granite pokeouts right there. Wonderful beach. Aside from some guy wearing nothing but a captain's hat and a Speedo, I haven't seen anybody else out here. Look at that up there. You got just about, I don't know, 150 meters of pure granite. Wonder what's growing up there. That looks pretty nice. And this is a major hot spot for the southern right whales in about July. Oh yeah, and the other thing too that's pretty interesting is this was called Two People's Bay. I guess some Frenchies and then some Americans bumped into each other. Big whaling crew. Wouldn't you like to see Australia back then? About 1800. Before all that land in the southwest got turned into wheat fields and agriculture. I mean, look at it now. It's crazy. It's just that there's so much land clearance, just massive amounts of land cleared. Far more developed land than intact habitat left. Far more. Oh, look at that. There's some dolphins surfing. Oh yeah, that's hard to feel bad when you're watching that, huh? Looks like they got some good waves too. I mean, it really seems like they're just having fun. It doesn't seem like they're going for food. It just seems like they're just riding the waves. You know, which anyone who's familiar with surfing knows is it's pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. Can't argue with that. Yeah, they're just having fun. It's just pure enjoyment. That's a pretty nice thing to see. I hope this is making your day as much as it's making mine. It's pretty nice. You know? It quells some of that anxiety and frustration. Jesus, there's like 20 of them. They're fucking surfing. These things are surfing. Holy shit. That's good. That's nice. Oh, you poor little furry bastard. Did that goanna get you? Is he hunting you? You know, I wish I could help you, but I don't know. You know, they're not gonna let me take a rabbit back on the plane. Oh shit, he munched on you, huh? Oh fuck. You poor thing. Looks like you're on your deathbed. Yeah, it's better than getting hit by a car. So rabbits aren't native to Australia. They're visitors. But you know, they're everywhere. They're just brought here by people. But yeah, look, he's just waiting. You see that goanna over there? He's laying low. Oh, the harsh reality. Hey, I'm not faulting you for it. You look like you gotta eat too. Look how skinny you are. Don't be afraid of us. We're gonna take off. And then I guess you can go for that guy. Make it quick though, okay? Don't maim him. Don't torture and maim him. Just go. You should go for the neck, not the ass. Go for the neck. Make it quick. Just put him out of his misery. Seems like he's really freaked out and in a lot of pain. All right, just do me that favor, okay? Oh, calcium carbonate for days. Nice little euphorbia there. And his fuzzy bush is one of the damn peas. One of the 9,000 genera of Fabaceae down here that look nothing like their northern hemisphere relatives. Tomorrow's chalk today. Where the granite meets the ocean. Where the granite meets the ocean. Where the billion-year-old Pluton meets the water. That lichen? Is it lichen? Oh, it does. It looks like lichen. Nice crust on the granite. What's photosynthesizing and what's actually eating the rock? What's secreting enzymes that are breaking down that rock? Is that what's going on? What would it be like to be alive a billion years ago? You know, when most of the life, most terrestrial life wasn't taller than a couple millimeters. I'd assume. What was it? Was it just a bunch of biofilms? Did you get a bunch of biofilms on the rocks? There was no terrestrial land plants yet, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna go with biofilms. I think it was just like that. Just a bunch of slimy biofilms on a rocks. Oh, that's a nice pea. Another nice pea. Just draping the rocks. Look at this guy though. This guy's a parasite. Imbricate foliage. There we go, there's a little flower. What do you think he's got it? What do you think he's got his Hostoria tapped into? His parasitic growth. Probably this these Myrtaceous guys? Huh? One of the myrtles? Fucking monster antmound. So take a look at this habitat here on this granite outcropping. You can see some nice kingies popping out there. Got the Fabaceae over there again. Just a handful of myrtles. Handful of different kinds of myrtles. And again, just the beautiful granite, granite beach. And there's probably so many goddamn snakes in there too. Lots of tiger snakes. Probably a couple king browns. And it was here in 1987 that this species of Caladenia was discovered. This is Caladenia granitora. Yeah, so look at that. So you got these, the sepals are clubbed on this, if you'll notice. And then of course you got that fringed labellum, that laciniated labellum. And then those studs in there, that's of course called the cali. And you got those pseudopolinia back there too, which no one really seems to know what is going on with those. You know, when I first saw them, I thought that those were the pollinia, which was odd because the pollinia are normally up there on, you know, where the stigma is. They're all part of that same column up there. It's got to just be something with deceiving the wasps that pollinate this, you know. And of course, that's the strategy here. Get the wasps to think it's sexy time and get them to do your pollinating for you. So the important thing to pay attention to with this is you can see there's that clubbed sepal. It's got that that sepal has that little swollen member, swollen member at the end of it. And if you get up close, which let's see if we could do, you can see it's just covered in little trichomes and hairs. You see that? That's actually secreting a sex pheromone, or a chemical that's very similar to the sex pheromone of this orchid's pollinator, the wasp. Specific wasp, assuming it's a thinid. So what it does, you know, so there's no visual attractant here. I guess maybe a little bit, but most of it's just actually the sex pheromone. So the wasp will come in, he'll grab that labellum and he'll try to fly away with it, and of course it just kind of dumps him into the back, up there to that top of that column right there. And he picks up the pollinia, and then he, of course, can't get rid of it until he makes the same mistake again, flying to another orchid, like, say, one of those over there. You see that guy? Where'd he go? There he is. And does the same thing, tries to fly away with that labellum, and then again, it just dumps him up into that column up there. And basically, then he gets rid of the pollen. A pollinia stick to that stigma, and then he's lost them, then he can just fly away, and maybe he'll actually get lucky, you know. Maybe he'll actually find a true female wasp instead of just being duped into trying to bang a flower. But anyway, that's pretty interesting. And these sepals, of course, too, these clubbed sepals down here are the same thing. They're just secreting that sex pheromone. How long did it take for this relationship to evolve? And it occurs in, you know, quite a few of the orchid species down here. Quite a few of the orchid species, not just in the genus Caladenia, but in others too. There is so much speciation among the orchids down here. You know, and probably for the same reasons there's just a lot of diversity in plants in general down here. Just lack of recent glaciation. nutrient-poor soils. A lot of selective pressure created by the stress of the nutrient-poor soils. Another interesting thing about this too is, of course, being an orchid, it needs that fungal symbiosis, and you know, it's obviously it's in the soil. The fungal symbiosis, the mycorrhizal partner that he's got, is also probably associating with these Myrtaceae species right here, with these myrtles, you know. So you lose the myrtles, you lose the fungi, and then you lose the orchids, you know. You just get the general collapse, which humans have been really good at doing. You know, again, doesn't have to be this way. It's just due to our pretty lousy value system, our short-sighted nature, and our lack of a greater context. So you'd think if I wrote a children's book, I'll even illustrate the bastard, called Dismantling the Biosphere with Homo sapiens. You think it would sell? Or is that too negative? Maybe most parents might not go for it, huh? You can see here's one that's not flowering this year. Oh, little fuzzy leaf. Little fuzzy basil leaf. Oh, look at this guy. I love your fringed labellum and your clubbed sepal. So an extremely rare orchid with a background of 1 billion year old granite. Really nice maroon, almost blood colored labellum over there. And then of course, you know, spent about 20 minutes earlier today watching young dolphins surf. It's not a bad day, you know. I mean, for a land that doesn't have any taquerias, it's not too bad down here. I can't really complain. Anyway, there you go, Caladenia granitora. Okay, so here you go. This is Gastrolobium biloba, and it's in the Fabaceae, of course, and it's actually the plant from which the compound 1080 is synthesized. There's a chemical in here, I believe it's fluoroacetate, and that is what was discovered in the 30s, was killing all the ranchers' goats and sheep. They would let them graze on this. Of course, this is one of the only palatable things out here, you know, since most of the foliage of the plants out here is so hard and leathery and sclerophyllous and spiky and with the shit. And so, you know, the mammals, the sheep and goats would graze on this, and then, of course, they'd all die. So there were just mass die-offs in the late 1800s and 1930s. It was discovered that this genus, Gastrolobium, was one of the causes of it. This is the compound that's been being used to poison the feral cats and the foxes. And again, that sucks, but the other option is to lose all the native marsupial fauna that has evolved there and been here for millions of years and exists nowhere else on the planet. You know, you let those feral cats and foxes go nuts, and they just exploit the fact that there's no predators here. The native mammals are not adapted to predators. They're not looking out for them. And also, a lot of them are just rather slow-moving, and so the cats and feral cats and foxes populations just blow up. So what they've been doing is dropping these sausages laced with compound 1080 all over the forest. You see signs for it, compound 1080, don't let your pets out, don't let your dogs loose, etc. And when I first read about that, I figured, you know, why are they poisoning? They're just poisoning the entire continent. Doesn't it hurt the native marsupials? And then, of course, I learned no, it doesn't, because the native marsupials have evolved with this plant. It might make them a little sick, but they certainly don't die from it, and a lot of marsupials don't even react to it. So it's pretty incredible, you know. It's just again, just the powers of coevolution, you know, just of trial and error. The native marsupials have a tolerance to fluoroacetate, the 1080 poison. So anyway, there you go. This is Gastrolobium biloba. And you can see it's called biloba because if you look at the ends of those leaves, the leaves are divided up into what it looks like two lobes. You know, it's basically, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's bilobed at the end of those leaves right there. So, and again, it's one of the only palatable things out here that's soft and chewable. But don't go chewing on it because you might die. Actually, you probably will die. Unless you're a marsupial, which you're probably not. Okay, so you're catching a running theme with the granite here again. That's a billion-year-old hunk of granite. This entire mountainside right here, basically, it's just all the same age, all the same time of uplift. Cooled very slowly underground. You see the ocean pretty nice over there. And over here you have another remarkable little terrestrial orchid. This one is known as the granite bird orchid, and this is in the genus Pterostylus. And if you look at that dorsal sepal, you can see it's translucent. You can actually see the pollinia in there. Let's see. Yeah, you can see those little yellow dots up in the top of the dorsal sepal. Boy, that translucent thing is really something else, huh? And of course, in this case, the labellum has been modified into a little feathery looking thing. How plumose. How plumose of you. And the two lower sepals. It's something else. Ah, yeah. That's what you call orchid full frontal. Christ, look at that labellum. This is fucking wild. These orchids are so creative. Such creative little organisms, huh? What do they got in those genetic toolboxes to, modify their, over the course of thousands of years, of course, modify their petals and their labellum like this. Petals, sepals, labellums, and what have you. And then look in there. You can see those, there's the column with the pollinia. And again, translucent. So I'm guessing it's got to trap gnats. Got to trap some tiny gnats or flies. Lure them in there, and then they try to get out, just trying to fly out towards the light through that translucent dorsal sepal, and it doesn't work for them, and so they can only come out the top, and then in doing so, coming out that little opening up there, they pick up some of the pollinia. And then they fly off, and they get, again, baited into the next flower and pollinate it. Same thing. Try to get out the top, deposit some of that pollinia on that stigma on the top of that column up there. But what baits them in there? How do you get them to go? How do you get them to go in there? That's the crazy part. And what does this frilly ass labellum have to do with it? You go in the bottom, and then of course you're drawn towards the light, up through the top of that dorsal sepal, come out the top, deposit the pollinia, on that stigma on top of the column right there. Ingenious. They just get so goddamn creative, you know. Orchids are the perfect scam artists. I mean, really, they're fucking devious in the loveliest of ways. And again, they don't have to invest in creating any nectar. They don't have to waste carbs on producing some sugary bullshit to get the pollinators to go in there. They just dupe them. They just fake them. It's all a scam. It's a scam. Are you privy to the scam? Pterostylus, everybody. Look at this little onion-looking guy. The genus Microtus. Yeah, get up close. That's just one little leaf. And not much soil there. There's not much soil for him to be growing on. Just this little puffy, spongy moss. And these are pretty common, I guess, these Microtus guys. Still pretty cool, though. And that's it for today.